this morning. So we are being told now that, and even in this moment, I'm wondering if I should say it, but I should, because there was, there's a feeling that, and the only reason why I'm wondering if I should say it is because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And in the context of things, it is amazing that someone could allow themselves to be thinking that in this time. But listeners, what is, no, you know why? And I hate to do this to listeners, but maybe I shouldn't, because the overwhelming majority of people who are consuming the news don't believe the alternate narrative that is being spun. But if I invited you to listen already, might as well I say that one of the things that is being said is that nationwide news has an agenda against Jamaica College, which is why we're covering the story the way we are covering it. Yes, and German in my ear is saying, don't George, why you about to say it? It's because those on high believe it. And that's a challenge. If it was being said by the bramble, then it wouldn't matter. Yeah? Were the bramble saying it, it wouldn't matter. But what the bramble is saying has been taken up by those on high. And the idiot narrative that how could the JC store be leading a national news bulletin? Only a dunce could say that. So if you're a product of the great institution, on Old Hope Road, Jamaica College, despite their best efforts, you did not get a good education there, because only an idiot could question whether a story germinating from a video of children corralling another child in the confines of a building and slapping out his senses, supported by one with a belt, that's not news. Only a dunce could say that. So despite JC's best efforts, whomever that germinated from, never, as my granny said, never learn nothing, not even learn, never learn a thing. And I'm saying the only reason I'm saying it here is because those on high are taking it on and believing it. It's rubbish. Mr. Board Chairman of JC, it's rubbish. And you should know better. Yeah? It is news. And we're not fueling a fire. We're inviting the country into a national conversation about violence in the country, which is impacting schools. That's what it is.
Exactly.
Look how many things we could have said yesterday, condemning this, that. We were very careful not to do that. We drew attention to the incident and what we believe are the steps that should be taken. The ministry spoke very quickly. JC issued a statement last evening, which is controversial. And the police have gotten involved. The boys are going to face disciplinary committee, so the wheels have started to move. The true test is what happens beyond here, what happens to these boys and what happens to the culture at JC that people have been trying to ignore. Yeah, how does Wayne Robinson and company change that culture? How does the board support them? So we're not condemning anybody. And any strong sentiment expressed about what was seen on camera is valid. Any strong sentiment by any commentator on any platform and any other nationwide journalists. And you see, some of you benefit from the fact that when you attack, we move on and leave you alone. Because in some ways, we who do journalism right and who draw to the public's attention things that the public ought to know about. We have to see ourselves as the moon and see you as dogs. And you could bark from now till thy kingdom come, you can't bring the moon from out of the sky. So I'm just saying, it's a matter of public interest. We have not been irresponsible. We have not tried to gas up the story. We've not tried to inflate and to make it bigger than it is. This is a huge issue. Huge issue. And we've invited a national discussion on it, and that's what we're getting now, and people are outraged, as they ought to be. And journalists have expressed strong opinions, as they ought to do. And JC needs to busy itself with fixing the problem, which it should do. And you who are trying to make it seem as if Nationwide has an agenda and has something against JC, how could we? You think people who go JC don't work here? Idiot. So how could we do that? And how is that line of conversation and reasoning relevant at a time when there are children involved? Even the aggressors were trying to say it, as you heard Tana saying what's on my mind this morning. It's not about just expelling those boys and sending them where? Mm-hmm. Turning them over to criminals? Giving them fresh material for gangs? No, that's not the solution either. So we want the solution that's best for all boys concerned. And we want Jamaica College to do what Jamaica College does best, turning out the champions of tomorrow in various fields, as they've done for decades with distinction. You realize how many things were said in the PTA statement about what JC has achieved in this academic year, number of competitions won and how well they've done, of course. That's what we want to be reporting on. But nobody's hiding this. And to report it in the way we have is proper and in order. So go back to your corner. Donna.
I think, yes, I think we should take the break. And then when we come back from the break, we start afresh on what we have scheduled for the front page this morning on NTM. But it cannot be that it's only the schools and the administrators and every other stakeholder is taking on the role of parenting.
Yeah.
Where are the parents? You can't find them. Phone calls, nobody answers. PTA meetings, nobody shows up. Mm-hmm. You see the same 5 parents at some of these PTA meetings.
Right.
And the parents who you really need to show up at these PTA meetings are not showing up.
Right.
The Ministry of Education goes ahead to have initiatives that focus on parenting. The ones who really need the parenting training, them not show up. Mm-hmm. Where are the parents?
It's the question. It's the question of the morning. May I say something as well? And I've been thinking about this from yesterday.
Yeah.
That. Well, no. I mean, since we have DSP, Richard, let's go on, because that's taking us in another totally different road. Down another road. But the parenting question. You said the same few parents turn up at PTA. You know, if you were to measure it, the parents who take the time to go to PTA, their children aren't involved in these things.
Sir.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because of the direct link. And it's funny. A parent who you will try to find to talk about the behavior of their child, their peer relationships, their attitude towards authority in the school, their attitude towards their schoolwork. Difficult to get that parent, to find that parent, to bring them in, to have that conversation with them, or even to say, where will you be at 5:30 p.m.? I want to drive and come check you if we talk about your child. Hard to schedule that because some teachers do that. Mm-hmm. But that same parent who is elusive for those things, take with the youth cell phone.
Off.
Immediately within half an hour of that boy calling and saying, Mummy, teacher boy, take my phone. Mummy did it. Give up my son your phone and then you bite, and me bite, blah, 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 blah. Mm. And so it's a retreat. I spoke recently about the retreat of intellectualism and the retreat of decency. Parenting has also retreated, putting an undue burden on teachers and school administrators, yeah, and effectively asking the state, raise the picnic for me. Mm. Yeah?
So the police officers' question is spot on. Yeah. Where are the parents?
Brilliant question.
Where are the parents? Mm. And DSP Richie says the boys involved are aged 17 and under.
I can't speak to all 3, but I know at least 2 attend the Seaford High School. And listen, let me be balanced. The reporting has nothing to do with the good standing of that school. Just that the students happen to to attend that particular school. And we're having challenges in a number of other schools across there, and society must step up now. I mean, I think it is time parents stop sending their children to school and use the school as a daycare. Just to hold them there for a period of time until parents get off the hustling or get off work. It is high time that ceases. And it is not a situation where the police is going to grow people's children. They can't. Our effort is really surrounding public order and public safety. And of course, moral suasion, etc., etc. You know, no government can grow people's children. Parents must step up. It's time with us. Be brutally honest about it and to be brutally frank. I think, based upon my report, all are about 17 years of age and under. Those involved. At least one is 14, one is 13, and one is about 17 years old, based upon the information that I have. It is really an unfortunate set of circumstances. And I mean, no parent would want to get up this morning and to be faced with this news, whether it is the aggressor or otherwise, the victim. They are children, and children must behave like children, and we are depending and we are calling on the parents to step up, take charge of your children, because the law enforcement is doing a tireless job in terms of intervention at the schools, at youth clubs, in communities, on the streets, but we need parents now to start being the real police of the discipline of their children. And that will engender a safer society.
You remember how your granny was?
Huh? Jeez.
Yeah, we need more of your granny.
Jeez, peas.
In 2026, when it comes on to parenting. And some of our YouTubers are agreeing with you, George, that many parents, man, they have retreated.
Yeah.
Gone.
You remember yesterday in the group, I put another video of a fight between
two schoolgirls.
Dana corrected it. So I said originally it was Belair and the Carteret. And she was saying that, because remember we were having a uniform conversation yesterday as well. So it's Belair and Bishop Gibson. Mm-hmm. No, a full-on brawl. Yeah, fists flying. And one of the girls, when a man held her and she had flip up.
I had that same conversation last night.
Yeah. So, just to be clear, these things happened when we were in school, Tana and myself, different generations, and even people before us, of course. Things happen in school, no doubt. The fact that you're seeing them on video, it gives a different weight to these matters. And not because they happened before, must we allow them to happen. No. Yeah. Parenting has retreated. Children are being encouraged to not confine themselves to acting like children. Tough discipline has been frowned upon. We've been told every problem can be solved with a hug. Errant behavior, only soothing words should be applied. Anything else is abuse, anything else is wicked, anything else. But look at the generations of us who got the carrot and the stick, almost literally. And I'm not preaching for one over the other. I'm just saying that the mollycoddling that happens, and whereby pickney are rule parents, which has accelerated in recent times. Yeah? You still don't say your mother rule a spliff. Really? In my generation time, from the child born in the 80s, you're mad. Mm-hmm. You build ganja side of your mother? As a teenager, as a schoolboy? Mm-hmm. I rub on bleaching cream beside her mommy? As a schoolboy? And say, yeah, my mother mix up the cream, then mix up the Neprozone and the Clara White and whatever it is that them. And I know these things because the DJs say it in songs, okay? And I'm just saying that these represent the accelerated decline of standards all around. And because of the decline in standards in the home, the teachers and school administrators face an overwhelming burden because these are not boys and girls that they're presiding over in a town, a man and woman.
Pecker says, George, Tana, the grannies are now 30 and 35 and wearing certain things and bleaching and ending up at the same, oh, the grannies and the grandkids ending up at the same dance, says Pecker here in our YouTube chat. And Rambling Rose says, yes, taught the things them, George. The soft parenting thing is absolute rubbish. Marsha says, George, my granny would say, patient no care, doctor no care either. And I see here, persons expressing condolences to the families and the friends.
The old boys and old girls and past students associations, they do a lot in many schools. JC Old Boys, the Parent Teachers Association, many schools have networks of past students that do so very well. The struggle is the buy-in and the participation. And as DSP Richie says, at the heart of this is parenting, because, I mean, check the situation of those boys. And what is shocking as well is where parents or a parent will try, a mother will tell you, say, sir, I try with him, I try to raise him the right way, disciplined. So I am shocked that he went out and did these things. That's also a possibility because of the peer groups that people find themselves in. And listen, as a man who was a boy, odd way to say it, but listen, we're hard for raising. I don't know about girls. Well, I have one, a teenager myself. I mean, the struggles are different, thankfully.
Yes.
But boy, hard for raise. And you will impart the right things to us, and you will faint if you hear what we go out and do because you're saying what this thing is alien to you because these things are not part of your household. Where him get them something from? Where did he learn that? I didn't know he had the tendency to be a thug because I've not exposed him to that. And so, yes, there is a reasonable expectation that the state, through the apparatus of the school and the people in the school, will help to balance and rebalance. That is how society is structured, because the parents can't do it alone, the teachers can't do it alone. But that's the problem. The teachers have too much of the burden to bear. The school has too much of the burden to bear, especially because the institutions have collapsed. You talk about parenting. What about the community?
Well, someone just said, Ransford Kelly says, it takes a village to raise a child.
And that's what it means.
If you now try to scold a child in your village, you're now looking up on, well, basically, find yourself in a spot of bother.
Yeah.
If you now try to scold somebody else's child or children.
And I don't want to go down the road of what used to happen with the little and how this, that. And many people can identify with that. But that is known. But I'm just saying that this is what this JC incident is talking about. It is a national conversation about how institutions, individuals have retreated, have resiled from their responsibilities. And now we have this problem of problem children in schools, because JC is not the only school where children have ganged up on other students. It's not the first, not the last, won't be the last, okay? It is a national problem that is manifesting in multiple schools across the country. And in the JC case, it's captured on camera. And in the JC case again, it looks to be because of a failure to acknowledge that there is a problem and act decisively to stamp out the problem. The principal, Wayne Robinson, friend of mine, we were talking in a professional group last night, and said, listen, he had the highest praise for him, and say, boy, Sir Wayne is such a good man. And that's why he's disappointed with how standards seem to be declining on his watch, and the failure to acknowledge that there is a problem and deal with it, because he said this man has all the skills and the tools at his disposal to get this job done. So given what I know of him as a fine man, I'm disappointed. Yeah, him not write him off, him just say disappointed, because there is room for Wayne Robinson and JC to make repair, and we're cheering for them, we're supporting that. Yeah, but I'm saying, Tana, it requires a national conversation and a reestablishment of the institutions accepting their responsibility and realizing that their stake in Project Jamaica involves them paying attention all the time, parents alone can't do it for the reasons that we've articulated, and the state alone cannot do it because the burden is too much.
We'll take a final clip here from the head of the St. Thomas Police, because he did speak on the Nalinga